Alright, so a house update. It turns out I have one bad neighbor. And as far as I can tell, the neighbor on the other side is delightful. He's got 3 generations of his family there, and I listen to them talk in their backyard, and they sound like really nice people. And I met the grandfather, and he seemed like a real nice guy. His name's Lawrence. But then my neighbor Larry, who lives on the other side, he seemed a little quirky when I first met him. Like, his greeting to me when I moved in was like, "You moving in?" I'm like, "Yep." He's like, "Need a microwave?" I'm like, "No." But for the first couple days, Larry parked in his driveway, and then he started parking it on my lawn between my garage and his garage. I've got like kind of a, yeah, I mean, you could see the property lines. Like I've got like a long fence, because most of that property is mine, and then the fence post, and then his property, which is basically just access to his gate. He could walk along his garage and go through the gate to his backyard. And I didn't see him. Like, I saw him every day until he started parking on my lawn, and then I didn't see him for 4 days. And then he moved his car off my lawn and came over to say hi, standing on my property, leaning over my fence. First thing in the morning, I walk out in the backyard in my underwear, and there he is leaning over my fence. And we exchanged some pleasantries, and amongst those pleasantries he said, "I've been feeding your dog." And feeding another man's dog without his permission is just flat out wrong. I thought that was an odd thing to say, and it's an odd thing to do, really. But then I thought, well, now we better talk about the important thing. I said, "Hey, our 2 property lines are right there, right?" He's like, "Yes." And like his eyes immediately like started turning red with anger. And I'm like, well, I'm just starting new things that I'm unfamiliar with, like getting insurance for the property and stuff like that in the house, and what can be done with it and what can't be done with it. And it makes me nervous to have your expensive vehicle right up against my my garage. And I'd be more comfortable if it wasn't parked on my lawn. And he just got really angry, and he said, "I've been parking my car on this lawn for 20 years, and I'm not going to stop just because you say so." Which is a ridiculous thing, like, you can't tell me not to park on your property. So which kind of strikes me as he must be a little bit not right in the head, because like, really, like, I think he's in his early 70s or something like that. Because like, anybody who's in their 70s has they know about property. They're like, there's certain things you don't do on another man's land, that kind of thing. You don't hunt on another man's land. You don't fish his streams, that kind of shit. You don't pick his tomatoes. And I'd ignored that, because that was a ridiculous thing to say. And I said, well, I'm just not comfortable with it. I don't think it's a good idea. So I'd prefer that you not do it. And he just says, "Well, we're done here." And he turns around and walks off. And I, like, the next day, I couldn't think of anything but that thing. And like, I was like, I felt like I was on the verge of having nervous shakes. It's just like, it's not that like the confrontation was necessarily bad, but like the whole idea of like the homeowner thing, like, I'm like, well, now it's going to be just a little bit, it's going to lack that I have 2 perfect neighbors. That would have been nice, how great would that be? So here's my plan to deal with it. And I know a lot of you are thinking spikes. But I'm thinking actually putting like a big planter box back there, planting some bulbs, something big and heavy, so it's not likely he's going to just drag it off or try to drive on top of it. And so just make it impossible to park there unless he damages my stuff. But so if my stuff gets damaged, there's these $100 security cameras, which might be a good idea, because I think actually someone went in my backyard and took a table. Like, I thought I had these 2 tables, and like the thing is, they've been in storage for like over 8 years, and I'm unloading all these things, and like stuff's starting to look unfamiliar. I'm like, oh, I didn't know I had this. And like, so maybe I just had 1 table and I moved it from outside to the inside, because I still have 1. I just thought I had 2 of the same kind. But anyway, yeah, my my gate was slightly open and the lock was unlocked. I mean, the hasp was open. You could actually lock it. I'll probably start locking it. Yeah, and a strange. I found out that happened because a strange dog came into my backyard. But anyway, yeah, I will fight this guy with flowers. Put a flower box there. And I'll also contact the city and stuff like that. Some people said call the police, and I'm like, well, I'll try to like keep it together. You don't want to, like, that's one thing I learned, like, in doing security work and stuff like that. It's like you never want to respond to somebody's outlandish behavior in such a way that they want to get revenge. Like, so you do just enough to take care of business because you're taking care of business, and you don't go any further. And that a lot of people when things calm down see, like, well, he was only doing his job, or, well, he's only protecting his property. Like, you know, like you get somebody involved, you get the law involved or anything like that, and suddenly it's like, well, then I'm going to get you in trouble with the city. You know, I'm going to start calling with noise complaints or something like that. So, got to avoid that at all costs. Oh. And then actually another advice was do nothing, and maybe this talk will do it. Like, I think that that's also the fine line between conflict. It's like doing nothing. That's not in the cowboy culture. But doing just enough. Not trying to cause trouble, but only meeting trouble halfway. Never go all the way down there to meet trouble. That's what cowboy culture teaches us. All right. Peace out. Other than that, you know, the house is great. Loving it every day. Loving it a little bit more.